For my 12th birthday, I was given a shotgun and a bulletproof vest.
For your 12th birthday?
Yeah. Because at that time, from 11 to the age of 12, I was taught how to strip a firearm, how to put the firearm together, how to use a firearm, how to hide firearms in cars, how to transport it anywhere and everywhere. So then on my 12th birthday, it was a fact of, I've basically hid everyone else's firearms for the last year. Oh, it's time for you to have your own. I was born in Nigeria, and my mother left around the age of 2, so didn't really know where she was. I spent quite a bit of time with my mother's mum, and then after that, I was moved over to my father's side, which is obviously staying at her mum's and his family for a bit. So that was the first time I ever met my father. Shortly after being moved over to my father's mum, I would say my father got married to my stepmom. And for me, that was obviously something quite, happy. I remember my father asking me, what do I think of her? And I absolutely thought, I love this woman. She's lovely, nicest lady I've ever met in my life. And especially at that time, I feel like I just wanted a mum, especially from having, obviously, my mum being missing and then going to my grandma and then my other grandma, just having a mum. No one actually sat down and said to me, oh, you're going to be going to the UK. No, I just figured it out myself and I thought, I can't wait. And especially when you come from, I would say from Africa, a lot of times in Africa, we believe that coming over to Europe is like, I'll say a whole escape. The UK was like Hollywood. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? So for me, it was like, I'm coming to Hollywood and I'm gonna, you feel like a superstar coming off the train, off the plane and that, thinking, like everyone's nice, everyone's lovely, people are smiling at you. You're thinking, yeah. So we was living in Kent for a bit, and I'll probably say at first, it was kind of hard trying to understand the UK culture. At first, everything was lovely. Like, I got put into a new school, I was understanding everything was lovely, I enjoyed it. But then a month in, I would say my stepmom became more, I would say before it was probably subtle. Like maybe you might hear a little word from her where she'll be like, oh, your dad don't like you. Or like I might ask her, is my dad coming home? Or is my dad, when am I gonna see my dad? And she'll be like, oh, your dad's too busy for you. Or something like little things like that. And it started with little things like that. But for me, as a child, you don't really pay attention to them things. Now that's my mum. Like, and especially my dad encouraged me to call her mum too. So to me, that's my mum. So I didn't feel any type of, I just thought, like, my dad's not coming home. Then later on, it became more, the verb use became more and more like clear, like, literally straight up, your dad don't love you. Like, boom, your dad will never care for you. Like, you're basically stopping us from having children. It then became physical. And when it became physical, it was then like anything, Mel, I didn't put a seat down in the toilet or something, straight away I'm getting beaten for it. Like, maybe I didn't wash my plate in the sink, I'm getting beaten for it. Like, anything and everything, it was just basically, I'm just getting beaten for everything and anything. So for me, it made me live in quite hyper-vigilant, like quite aware of everything that was going on. So even when I was sleeping, I couldn't really sleep at home because most of the time I have to always listen and feel like, is she gonna come in and beat me tonight? What's gonna happen? That went on for a while. And even that then times, it was like, I had loads of issues where even I wanted to tell my dad came back in the evenings. He was always at work, he was never around. So it was like, by the time he comes back, I'm meant to be in bed sleeping. And I don't want to be in trouble because I'm thinking she's going to beat me if I get in trouble.
It must be really hard.
For me at that time, I would say that I just learned to ignore the bad and try to focus as much on the good. One of them things where I learned how to protect myself and shield myself. So it's like, mentally, I learned not to be there. So it was like, I just learned how to disassociate. So where it's like, my body's being hit, but I'm not physically actually there. She was later on arrested for child abuse. Like, because it was like there was things with like metal rods when being hit with hot things. She's never been someone to, I would say, lay hands on me outside. It's always like, wait till we get home, wait till we get home, wait till we get home. So this time we've got back home, but before we even got up the stairs, like we're basically at the front bit of the block, she's just literally turned around, but she had her heels in her hands. So she's walking to the front door and I'm walking behind her because obviously, you know, kids, when they know they're in trouble, you don't really want to go home. You're you're dragging every single step till you get to that front door. As soon as I got basically close enough to the door, she's turned around and she's literally striked me with the heels of her shoes. And the first thing I felt was the warmth of my blood. So it was like, okay. Like, but even, I'll say I was quite shocked. I remember her giving me the decisions. Do you want to go up the stairs or do you want to come up the lift with me? And for me at that moment in time was like, I don't really want to go in the lift with you. So I'm going to go up the stairs. And I was flying up them stairs, got to the, this time we lived on the first floor, I think, or the second. I think the first or second. But I got to our floor and it got to a point where I'm just there now, just thinking to myself, I can wait for this lift to come up or I can leave. But then where am I going to? But then also, I'm also thinking to myself, I love my dad. And there's like, I never really grew up with my dad. And this is a chance for me to basically be with my dad. But then I have blood. I have blood on my face. So it was like, cool, you know what? I can't stay. When I ran away, I obviously took the bus to the last stop. And at that time, I don't know if I fainted or I fell asleep, but whatever happened, I woke up, I was at the last stop. And when I was at the last stop, I didn't know where I was. I remember going into a cab station and asking the cab station for help. They told me they were helping, but instead they called the police. Okay. And when they called the police came and straight away I was taken into the station, social services was called and I was put into care. Yeah, I was put into care and I was still 8. So I've not even turned 9 in the UK. I came into the country when I was 8 and I went into care before I turned 9.
Where was your foster family? Where were you living at that time? Because obviously you were in Kent, but you moved to London, right? So where was the foster family?
That was Southeast London. Southeast London was like a lot more harsher than Kent. My foster carer's nephew was actively involved in gang culture. Even though he was a child himself, he was actively involved in gang culture. So I took quite a strong liking to him because he was the one that really, like, you know, proper like liked me, oh yeah, what, you don't have to speak English? I can teach you. You know, say Wagwan. Oh, yeah, look at him, look how he said Wagwan. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, it became like, I would say we built a bond, him teaching me how to basically fit in. He took care of me. When I would say clothes-wise, he made sure I had clothes. When it comes to shoes, he made sure I had shoes. When it comes to like dealing with certain situations in school, it was him that I called. And he was always there. Like, he was always consistently there.
Did you know that he was involved in like gang culture at all?
Nah, to me, he was just a cool guy. Had loads of friends, like, you know, dressed nice. Girls liked him. Everyone liked him. So to me, it was like, it's the right guy. Like, I like him. Like, he's cool. Like, it didn't look like, you know, some scary person. And then all of a sudden, wow, disappeared. Can't get hold of him. Can't speak about him. Can't speak to him. And everyone's just shutting it like, when I asked, where is he? Shortly after that, it was then that transitional period of leaving year 6 and going into year 7. So now I'm at an age where I would say that I'm being given a lot more leeway where you can go to the park for a couple of hours, chill with your friends, like literally have fun. And obviously I had a BMX where the BMX had the pegs at the front and the pegs at the back. So for me, straight away, I thought I was a cool kid going through the park. The girls trying to chat to me. Obviously, they got a couple of boys with them, but they don't care about the boys. They're trying to chat to me. So I'm thinking, yeah, thumbs up. But later on, the boys started asking me to go take things to houses for them. So for me, it was like, I'll say I was given a choice where it was like, cool, you can either let us go on your bike to go drop it, or you can go drop it for us. For me at that moment in time, I was like, bro, I don't want you to go on my bike. Like, I don't want you to be on my bike. You might not bring it back. So I'm like, okay, I'll go drop it. Then, you know, it started with a park. Then we moved out of the park. Then after moving out of the park, we started chilling in the area, the local blocks, the local areas and that, walking around. And obviously me, I'm on my BMX, I'm going everywhere, like, you know. And we're now in a group, like there's a group of us, we're kids, like they're a couple of years older than me, but we're still kids. They introduced me to their elders, and straight away, I would say the tone changed straight away, even when I was introduced to the elders, where it was like, they got straight to business. It went let's break him in. Like it was straight away, bro, would you like to go away for a week? And I'm like, go away for a week where? Like, do what? Like, what's going on? And they're like to me, go away for a week, go chill with your friends. The same thing you're doing here, just chilling with your friends, innit? When I was taken, I would say on that journey alone, there were like probably other kids with me, but then other kids were dropped to other locations. And I was one of the last kids to be dropped to my location. And when I was dropped to my location, it was then where I say reality started sinking in, where it's like, I was meant to be chilling with my friends. Now I'm in this house by myself with just the elders. None of my friends are here with me. When I came into the house, it was like really dirty. So for me, straight away, it was like, ooh, like, where do I sit? Like, am I allowed to sit on this chair? Like, dirt. When I say dirty chair, like, we're talking old chair, scruffy, like, holes and everything. Everything just looks mad. And then there was like loads of foils on the table, loads of ash, like, it was kind of like stink of smoke, like a strong smell of smoke. And I was introduced to banking straight away. So for context, plug-in, where I obviously, where I put a package basically up my bum. Yeah, that's the best way to explain it. Put a package up my bum. And me straight away, I'm thinking, what, banking? What do you mean bank it? Like, what are you talking about, bank it? Like, what does that mean? Like, whoa. And one of the elders basically done it in front of me. So demonstrated it, showed it to me. So me straight away, I'm thinking, a bit strange, but if he's doing it, it must be okay. Like, it must be all right. It must be, and especially like not understanding this culture. For me, I'm thinking that this must be how kids are. Like, this is how it is, like normal. So I'm thinking, okay, tried it. After I tried it, I'm gonna lie to you, for me, it was weird at first. Like, I thought to myself, right, this does not feel right. This does not make sense, but okay. Like, it was weird at first. Then they explained to me the difference between, they said to me, this is light and this is dark. If the person comes for 2 light, you get out of this white pack. If the person comes for 2 light and 1 dark, you get 2 light out of this white pack and you get the dark out of this dark pack. So they explained to me like the color codes and everything. So I said, okay, makes sense. You receive money, and when the person goes out and it comes back in. So the guy that lives in the house, he comes, he takes the stuff he asks of me, he goes out and he brings back money. To me, this is like a magic trick. I'm like, okay, this is calm, like, this is not a problem.
And looking back now as an adult, like, we all know the terminology for what happened there. It's county lines, right?
100%.
What is county lines?
County lines is more of a factor where young people are sent to different locations to go sell drugs or transport drugs. So it don't actually have to be you're selling drugs in a spot. It can be just a fact of you moving drugs from London, just from Southeast London to West London, or even for the fact of just moving it from literally one street to another street. Like, that is another form of county line. So it's just to transport. The county bit is the area, and the line bit is that train line. Evening time comes, you know, the oldest to come take me. But also, before then, I will say that before they left, they made it look like they're just going away for an hour. So this, that, me, that will be back in a second. Don't worry. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. They'll be back soon, and that's all right. Wait until late evening, end up probably falling asleep. And no one came. So for me, it was that, okay, no one's here. The next day has come. I'm hoping someone's going to come today. But the addict keeps on coming. No one still came. Then the third day has come. And now I'm praying, like, Rav, yo, my foster carer must be worried. A lot of stuff must be going on. Right, Ram, they're definitely coming today. No one still came through the daytime, but the evening now, I heard a knock on the door. And hearing a knock on the door, I'm thinking to myself, boom, yeah, time to go home, happy. Literally straight away, I've had a shotgun being pointed at me. But at first it was being pointed at, first you would see the addict come through the door, but then straight away you see the shotgun change direction from the addict and straight away being pointed at me. So at first I was thinking to myself, okay, that this is a bit, but.
Was that the first time you'd ever seen a gun?
Yeah. That for me was that, at that point I thought to myself, I was gonna die. They basically led me with the shotgun to be sat down. Sat down, and at this time, I was like 10. That stage between year 6 to year 11. So I was like 10, 11. And no one's really talking. They're just literally, as soon as this one person has come, like in the blur of my vision, I'm seeing loads of people like trash the whole place. Like they're looking for something or looking for someone. And this person had a shotgun being pointed at me. He just like proper like staring at me. And I'm sat on the sofa and he's proper staring at me. Then he's obviously put down his balaclava down and he's asked me, what am I doing here? And straight away, recognition is hit that, oh, this is my man that chills with my foster carer's nephew. It's like, what's he doing here?
So who were they?
They were my foster carer's nephew's friends. But at that moment in time, it did not click that this is a gang problem. Like this is actual gang warfare. But I'm just sitting there thinking that, oh, they come to get me. And thank God you came to get me. So when they were asking me questions like, oh, what are you doing here? When did you get here? Me, obviously, in the streets, we believe there's no snitching. And that's how I grew up, no snitching. But at that moment in time, I was 11, I didn't really understand no street code. I was singing a cappella. I was snitching from the roof, like, yo, they brought me this day, I've been here. No one's came, no one's answering the phone, like, I can't believe it, I want to go home. Like, what's going on?
So they took you away from that house?
They took me with them back to London. And they took me back home. So when they were taking me back home, on the way back now, I had a parcel, which at the time I didn't know was drugs, but it was drugs. And I also had a different parcel, which was basically money. So at that time, and being in the car, I asked them, what do I do with this? Like, what do I do with these two parcels? One of the oldest, like, I've keep it. Like, we don't care for that, keep it. I started getting phone calls. And when I'm getting phone calls, straight away, it was like, boom, you robbed us. Wait till we catch you. Like, you robbed us. If you don't have the money, we don't have the drugs, we're coming after you and your foster carer. I need to find help, or I need someone to save me. I also felt like I needed to speak to an adult. So we had a looked after child review, which is called a LAC review. But social services didn't really know about county lines, modern day slavery, kids being involved with selling drugs and everything else. So it was like me explaining to them in a LAC review that this is what's happening. For them, like, this can't be happening. You're a child. Like, literally, this must be all in your head. You must have made this up. It can't be happening. So me leaving that review, I sat there and thought to myself, these people ain't gonna help me. And at that moment in time too, I also felt like my life is still in danger. So it was like, cool, what do I do next? And then it's like, I looked at already my foster carers, nephews, friends as saviors. So I went back to them. It's basically the gang that I was with now, they used the fact of me not feeling safe and obviously scared for my life as a way to basically, I'll say, groom me to use firearms for them. So they basically I'll say they used that as a way to, I would say, turn me into their little soldier.
Mm-hmm. And what does being a soldier in a gang involve?
Selling drugs, involved in quite violent acts. I'll say it's just literally money, beef, and power. That's the best way to put it. Yeah, it's money, beef, and power. So when I say beef, war, and power.
I guess this new gang, they help you protect yourself.
Yeah.
How did they do that?
So first of all, it was a fact of like, when I first met them, they basically first explained to me the situation I was in and told me that, it doesn't matter about the drugs or the money. They're gonna kill you either way. They think that, boom, you're with us. And because they think you're with us, they're on you anyway. So blood, like, you need to make sure you're good. You need to make sure you're protected. We got you anyway. We're gonna make sure you're good. I was given a way to protect myself and I was given a revolver. I was given a revolver 380, which is a firearm.
How old were you?
At that time, I was 11.
How did it feel seeing a gun and holding it for the first time?
I would say for me, at that time too, yeah, it was like, gun became quite known. For this period of time, I would say for the couple of months, I saw a lot of guns. It's kind of mad, but I saw a lot of guns. Like literally for them couple of months, it was like, I saw a shotgun. Then I'll probably say in less than 3 months, now I have a revolver with everyone in that space having guns. I didn't really feel out of place. It was like, for me not to have a gun, I will be out of place. Like that's how it felt at that moment in time. Is that you need to have a gun to be in place.
And were you given one for your birthday?
No, I was given that gun. For my 12th birthday, I was given a shotgun and a bulletproof vest.
For your 12th birthday?
Yeah.
Why did you get that as your birthday present?
Because at that time, from 11 to the age of 12, I was taught how to strip a firearm, how to put the firearm together, how to use a firearm, how to hide firearms in cars, how to transport it anywhere and everywhere. So then on my 12th birthday, it was a fact of, I've basically hid everyone else's firearms for the last year. It's time for you to have your own. And yeah.
And am I right in thinking during this time you had quite a lot of violence inflicted on you as well?
But before I was arrested, I was shot twice. I was shot in my elbow and also my knee. And then I was ironed in my stomach, stabbed ribs, a couple of inches away from my spine, both shoulders, my back, everywhere.
Why?
Yeah, everywhere. I was the youngest recruit. And even in my borough at that moment of time, I was slightly the youngest recruit for my borough at that moment of time too. So it was like for the oldest, I was the one sent to do a lot more things. So it was quite, how can I explain it? The reputation built quite easily, where it was like, they will send a little 11-year-old child in a uniform to come do something to you. Now they won't send one of them, or you won't see them in a car. You might just see a little kid and he has a gun on him. I became slightly one of the most hated kids quite quick too. Like really became one of the most hated kids quite quick, because it was like people were scared, but then also people didn't take time to probably understand what was going on. Yeah. They were just scared.
And can you tell me about the time that you were shot? What happened?
Obviously, the rules and regulation from a block at that moment of time was that you don't leave without your gun. So we don't want to see you on a block without a gun or without a knife or without any some sort of tools, because at that moment of time, conflict was quite high. So a lot of times enemies will come into the block, shootings, stabbings. So the rules was always have your thing on you. But at this moment of time and at this day, I was doing block shifts, and block shifts are like basically a young person might do a day shift, which is like literally probably like the same thing you don't do, work 9 to 5 and all these type of things. Just a day shift can be from 6 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. in the evening. And then our next young person is doing 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. So a lot of times at this time, I was kicked out of school. So I was doing a lot of day shifts. So in doing a lot of day shifts, meant that, people come a lot more. People came a lot more. And in people coming a lot more, I had an encounter with enemies who came to my block to have problem with the gang I was involved with at that moment in time. Straight away, they identified me, and it was a fact of I identified them too. So I started running away. But in running away, I was shot.
How old were you when you got shot?
First time I was shot, I was 12. And in the space of that year, so I was shot the first time 12, and in that year, I was shot again in my legs.
And like psychologically, you're still really young, right? You're 14, you're 12, 13, 14. What are you thinking during this time?
I came into this country as a child that wanted the best. But then at that time, I was living in survival. It was literally just surviving. And I was constantly in survival where I couldn't leave without a bulletproof vest, and even walking on the street, I couldn't walk on the street without having some sort of firearm or weapon on me, because I knew the people that were coming after me, they had weapons too.
And how long were you in that situation where you were kind of carrying out this gang's wishes as a soldier?
Till I was 13, 14, where I was arrested for my first ever case, possession of a shotgun without a certificate, and GBH of intent, which was dropped. But then when I came out of jail, I'll say it really hit. And that's when I'll probably say the blurred line is of when a victim is not seen as a victim no more, but now seen as a perpetrator. Because for me, even when I came out of jail, I looked at them as flawed, because it was that you gave me a code that even you couldn't stick to. You said to me, no snitching, but you told someone to snitch on me in court. It doesn't make sense. But then I couldn't inflict violence because it was like, right, I know these people and these people are my people. So it was a lot of times where I was having a lot of clash with them, where they might want me to do something, and now I'm on this, no. I learned to say no. Mm-hmm. I learned to say, brother, I'm not doing that, bro. Like, I'm not on that. Like, literally. And it was like, what? You're not on that. I remember I refused to do something, and one of my elders basically put in the fact of, bro, if you don't do it, I'm going to shoot your brethren. It's that simple. And it was like, okay. Logically, I take it in. But the same thing, my friend took that in too. And the rest of the whole group at my age, we took that in too. Like, literally, you don't care for us. And when we understood that, that's when that blurred line switched, where now we know violence. We don't know anything else. You taught us how to be rascals and literally wild kids. And that's exactly what we gave them. We gave them wild kids, and they hated us for it. It's like having a dog, and it's going to sound mad what I'm going to say, but it's having a dog and you keep on beating up the dog, then you wonder why the dog bit you. Yeah. Now, of course the dog's going to bite you. And that's exactly what happened for my elders. Like, they end up start getting bitten. Yeah. So we had full-on conflict with our elders, where we was basically at war with our elders, and we were trying to explain to our elders that we don't want to be doing what they're telling us to do no more. We want to be done.
When did you get out, and how did you get out of the gangs?
I would definitely say, for me, it wasn't so much about out, and that's something I need to even get clear. Like, I really and truly fought for my freedom from the age of 16 to like 18. And then when I was just after I turned 19, my elders gave me a choice of having a firearm at 6 p.m. and was told that if I hold this firearm to the next day, that everything's all right. We don't have an issue. Everything's squashed. When I done that, 4 a.m. in the morning, I was being raided by armed police because they had intel that I had a firearm in the household. because for the elders, it was pretty much like, we couldn't kill these little kids, so let's get rid of them. So I was arrested and I was sentenced to 5 years. But in this 5 years, I was given a deportation order. And when I was given this deportation order, I didn't really know what to do. I remember telling my solicitor my story from the start to the end. And I also remember telling her it was going to be a long week for her. And she's telling me, yep, let's go. I can do it. You know me? And then she introduced me to the psychologist. And I've done the same thing with the psychologist, spoke to the psychologist. But I had to explain my story from the start to the end, everything. And after that, they both came in the room and told me, oh, you've been groomed. They didn't really register to me that, oh, you know, the people over me, they might have influenced. No, it was like, to me in my head, it's just like, oh, I'm the one that is actually doing all the stuff. So it's all on me. And at first I remember this lady talking to me about trauma, and I'm thinking, bro, you're lost. What you talk? Trauma, me, traumatized. I caused the trauma. What are you talking about? That don't make sense. We started speaking more, and she started explaining things. Like, we started talking about my little scars and where my scars came from. I didn't know how to move forward. I really didn't know how to move forward. I was quite stuck, and it was quite easily for me to be re-exploited. Me and my trauma worker, we've been speaking about how would I like the system to look like? How do I think prison should look like? How do I think service should work with young people or young people who are currently being exploited and all these type of things? So we were speaking about it. But for me, it was all talk. Like, you know, nothing it's not gonna happen. Like, no one's gonna listen to me. I'm just a child. I'm just, even then, I was not just a child, but to me, it's that I'm no one. No one's gonna listen to me. I wanted to change professionals' perspective, because at the end of the day, every room I step into, people look at me and think, oh, should he be here? Shouldn't he be here? Because I got gold teeth, I got long hair, I look a certain type of way. So I just wanted to change that perspective first. I'll say one of the most enjoyable moments that I do have now is being a voice for the unheard. Like, able to speak for my young people in my community, able to speak for the young people who feel like their voice is not being heard in different type of rooms. And yeah, I say that's how life is for me now. And obviously now I've got dreams and aspirations, where before it was just, you know, hope I live to the next day, you know.
I ended up getting in maximum security, and the riot popped off right 2 weeks when I was in there. There was 14 people killed. The main boss was decapitated, and they were playing basketball with his head.